Many leaders are calling people back to the office. They believe that physical presence fuels a strong culture. Seeing employees at their desks feels like a sign of productivity and commitment. This has led to the rise of return to office, or RTO mandates. These policies often set rigid rules. For example, a company might require all employees to be in the office 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. On the surface, this feels like a straightforward solution to distributed work. It promises a return to a familiar, pre-pandemic way of operating. This desire for the old normal is understandable. Leaders often managed by walking around. They gauge the mood by observing interactions in hallways and in break rooms. Remote work removed those data points, leaving managers feeling disconnected and less in control. A uniform mandate seems like the fastest way to restore order and oversight. It simplifies scheduling, standardizes the employee experience, and appears to create a level playing field. The logic is simple. If everyone is back, collaboration and culture will return. But that logic hides significant, often invisible costs. Mandates are a blunt instrument for a nuanced problem. One of the most immediate and damaging consequences of a strict RTO mandate is the loss of top talent. Your most skilled and effective employees have the most career options. They are highly sought after and can choose employers with preferable working conditions. When a company imposes a rigid policy that removes valued flexibility, it puts a flexibility tax on staying. For many high performers, that tax is too high, especially when competitors offer autonomous, trust-based work. This exodus is not a minor inconvenience. It drains institutional knowledge and capability. When a seasoned engineer leaves, when a creative marketer leaves, when a star salesperson leaves, they take years of experience, deep customer relationships, and intimate process knowledge. Replacing them is costly and time-consuming. New hires need extensive onboarding and training and can take months or years to match prior productivity. In the meantime, projects may stall, team morale can drop, and the company's competitive edge can dull. Strict mandates also disproportionately affect diverse talent pools. The commute is a regressive tax on lower-paid workers. For working parents and caregivers, flexibility is a necessity, not a perk. A rigid in-office requirement can make roles untenable, forcing people out. This can undo years of progress toward diversity and inclusion. The problem extends to hiring. Requiring employees to live within commuting distance severely restricts the talent pool. You stop hiring the best person for the job and start hiring only those near your office and willing to commute. In a market demanding specialized skills, that geographic limit is a self-imposed handicap. Companies embracing location flexibility can tap a global talent market, finding exceptional candidates wherever they live. Strict mandates close that door. The central claim, RTO mandates, born from a desire for control, often backfire. They trigger hidden harms, not visible on a balance sheet, but deeply damaging. Beyond the tangible loss of talent, RTO mandates can inflict a deeper wound, the erosion of trust. During the pandemic, millions proved they could be productive working from home. They met deadlines, they collaborated effectively, they kept businesses running. This forged a new psychological contract, an unwritten set of expectations between employees and employers. A core part was trust. Companies trusting people to manage their own time and to get work done without direct supervision. A sudden strict mandate can feel like a direct violation of that trust. The message, "We don't trust you to be productive unless we can see you." It feels like a betrayal to employees who prove their reliability. It invalidates their efforts and treats them like children needing constant monitoring. That perceived lack of faith is deeply demotivating. Engagement plummets. Discretionary effort dries up. People may start quiet quitting, doing the bare minimum while they search for another job. Trust is foundational to a healthy culture. It's slow to build and incredibly fast to destroy. Once gone, it's exceedingly difficult to regain. A workforce that feels distrusted is less likely to be open with feedback, less willing to take creative risks, less committed to long-term goals. They may comply on the surface, show up, but their hearts and minds are not invested. The office becomes a place of compliance, not commitment. Perceived unfairness magnifies the damage. Mandates are often applied uniformly, ignoring individual roles and circumstances. A coder with 90% heads-down work is forced to commute just like a salesperson who needs face-to-face meetings. This lack of nuance makes the policy feel arbitrary and unjust. When rules feel unfair, people resist, openly or passively. Company energy shifts from the mission to managing internal friction, a costly distraction. Section 4. The flawed logic of forced serendipity, innovation and its true sources. Leaders often defend RTO mandates by invoking the magic of in-person collaboration. They argue that breakthrough ideas are born from serendipitous encounters, the water cooler in the hallway or over lunch. The theory is that by forcing everyone into the same space, you increase the probability of these creative collisions, thereby fueling innovation. While there is a kernel of truth to this, relying on forced proximity as a primary innovation strategy is a deeply flawed and incomplete approach. True innovation is far more complex than random chats. Real innovation requires a delicate balance between two distinct modes of work: deep, focused effort and interactive, collaborative brainstorming. Great ideas often emerge when an individual has uninterrupted time to think deeply about a problem. They then refine and build upon those ideas through structured interaction with their colleagues. A mandated office presence can disrupt both of these critical activities. The open-plan offices that many companies favor are often rife with distractions, making deep work nearly impossible. At the same time, forcing people together does not guarantee that their interactions will be productive or creative. They can just as easily devolve into social chatter or unnecessary meetings. Furthermore, the idea that innovation only happens face-to-face is an outdated belief that ignores the reality of modern work. Many of the most innovative companies and open-source projects have been built by distributed teams collaborating across continents and time zones. They succeed not through serendipity, but through intentionality. They use powerful digital tools for asynchronous communication, maintain rigorous documentation practices, and design structured processes for brainstorming and feedback. These teams prove that with the right systems and culture, high-level collaboration and innovation are not dependent on sharing the same physical address. Instead of fostering creativity, a rigid mandate can inadvertently stifle it. When employees are forced to spend hours commuting, they have less time and mental energy. When they feel distrusted, psychological safety plummets, and they're less likely to voice unconventional ideas. Innovation thrives in an environment of autonomy, trust, and psychological safety. A command and control mandate that dictates where and when work must be done undermines these conditions, making the office a place of routine rather than a hub of reinvention. Section 5. Building a better way. The path beyond mandates. The evidence is clear. Rigid return-to-office mandates are a high-risk, low-reward strategy that can cause lasting damage to talent, trust, and innovation. The good news: there are far more effective alternatives. The path forward isn't choosing office or remote work. It's building a thoughtful, flexible, human-centered approach. Shift the mindset. From managing presence to measuring outcomes. Focus on what people produce, not where they produce it. Set clear goals. Define success metrics. Trust teams to find the best way. Involve employees in designing the policy. Don't issue top-down edicts. Engage in dialogue. Survey your people. Run small-scale pilots with teams. Be transparent with the data and reasoning. When employees are co-creators, they own the model. That builds trust and grounds policy in real work. Redesign the office with purpose. If focused solo work is better at home, don't optimize the office for it. Make the office a destination for team-building events, collaborative project kickoffs, mentorship sessions, and complex problem-solving workshops. The office as clubhouse model makes the commute worthwhile. People come in with purpose, connect meaningfully with colleagues, then return home for focused execution. Invest in flexible, reconfigurable collaboration spaces, not rows of desks. Invest in leadership capability. Managing hybrid or remote teams requires a different skill set. Train leaders to build trust with distributed teams, give effective asynchronous feedback, and run inclusive meetings. Without upskilling managers, even the best policy will fail. The future of work is about building capabilities, not rules. Organizations that thrive will abandon rigid mandates and embrace adaptive, trust-based, outcome-driven work.